just had this amazing adventure of a night where I think we can all agree that Mother Nature is a powerful force that we got to recognize and appreciate last night. But we always said this was going to be an adventure, and we proved that in day one. So I just want to start today with a bit of an opening prayer that Claire and I put together, and just something for us to come together as a group, as a Kula, and take a few moments to appreciate where we've woken up this morning. We want to take this opportunity as we sit together as a Kula, a group of people coming together as a community of like-minded individuals, to welcome each and every one of you to Bali and to our first Kula Yoga Retreat. Salamat datang. Let's close our eyes, our hands at heart center. In the Balinese Hindu culture, the hands are held here in the middle of the body to make a prayer or offering to the people. We would like to thank the local community for allowing us the privilege of traveling to such a sacred island and sharing in its beauty. We understand that life is a culmination of ups and downs, and so we allow ourselves to flow with the highs and lows of a different land and its culture. We would like to thank our hosts for guiding us on our journey and around the waters of Bali. We respect their knowledge and experience and hand over some of that control to them, opening our hearts and minds for whatever comes. We would like to acknowledge each person sitting here as an individual with different ideas, experiences, and backgrounds, remembering that we are here as a group, a community, and a Kula family. We will respect and look out for each other. And lastly, we would like to give thanks to the many great yogis and teachers who came before us. They shared their knowledge and wisdom, and now it's our turn to pass that on. In the pursuit for happiness and peace, we continue on that journey towards creating a better world for all. We hope that you not only have a beautiful, relaxing and fun holiday, but are also able to take something special away for you. Maybe a better baby bakasana, or something as simple as a tool for happiness. Namaste. So keeping the eyes either open or closed, just placing the hands down onto the ground in front of you, and just starting to walk the fingertips forward. Let the head and the neck completely go, and just start to sink and melt into your pose. Letting go through the head and the neck, releasing through the hips, and starting to connecting with your breath. Deepening every inhale to nourish the body. Releasing with every exhale any tension, any stress, edging your fingertips forward, feeling that beautiful release through the neck, the upper back, in between your shoulder blades, all the way down towards the sacrum, releasing through your hips. Taking a few minutes to start turning that gaze inward. Start doing a little scan of the body. And if anything in particular is feeling a little tight or tense, start to imagine the breath shifting to that part of the body, starting to slowly open up and release. Let your head hang heavy. And then gently come back to center. If it's safe for your knees and it's cushioned enough, you can roll over the knees onto all fours. Otherwise, knees to one side, come over the hip, come into tabletop, fingertips forward, spread nice and wide for stability. Keep your knees separated, keep them directly underneath your hips as you start to work through your cat and cow stretches. On the inhale, rounding the spine up towards the sky, tucking the tailbone and the chin, and as you exhale, arching the spine, lifting the gaze and the tailbone. And you're working with your own breath cycle, trying to make each breath deeper than the last, trying to find freedom and space along your spine with every breath, and just starting to wake everything up. Find movement and find that beautiful connection with your breath. Now, for most of our trip, we'll be basing our classes mostly on vinyasa. Vinyasa translates to movement with breath. So finding that connection, finding your flow, And as you follow the rhythm of your breath, your practice starts to move into that moving meditation. So instead of just focusing on the pose itself, start to concentrate on the way that you move in and out of your poses as well, for that complete practice. One more full breath cycle. Then coming back to a neutral spine at the end of that breath cycle. And then extending the right arm out in front, left leg out behind. Keep nice and strong through your core. Reach those right fingertips forward as you start to extend the left leg out towards the back of the boat. Either staying where you are or reach back with the right hand for the left foot as you bend through the left knee, grasping the foot. Perhaps start kicking gently into that hand to start opening up through the right shoulder and the left hip. Keep your balance, keep plugging that right knee and left hand directly into your mat, opening up through the chest, the shoulder, the hip. Gently release, come back to your cat and cow. Try to find a little bit more movement, more space along the spine, more release. And just enjoy that breath, that beautiful fresh air. One more full breath cycle. And at the end of that breath cycle, coming back to your neutral spine, engage your core, extend the left arm out in front, right leg out behind. Stay nice and strong through the core, plug the left knee and the right hand into the mat. Gaze is just in front of your mat. Keep nice and strong. Now start to bend the right foot in towards the hip, reach back with the left hand, grasping the foot. Maybe you're pausing here. Maybe you're gently kicking into the hand to open up through the shoulder and the hip. Keep your balance, keep your focus, your drishti on one point in front of your mat. And then gently release and come back to your cat and cow stretches. Where's your breath? Keep working with your breath. Find that moving meditation. Find your rhythm. Slowly starting to open up. One more full breath cycle. And at the end of that breath cycle, you're coming back to your neutral spine, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, push back, downward dog. With your downward facing dog, hips up nice and high. Feel free to walk it out, first dog of the day, by pressing the feet gently, lifting the heels one at a time. Start to work a little deeper into the calf muscles, into the Achilles. And don't forget about the shoulders. As you lift the hips up nice and high, press down and forward through the hands, opening up through the chest, the shoulders. Try to create that inverted V. Beautiful. Everyone finding stillness. Gently press both heels down towards the ground. And start to shift both heels over to the right and feel the opening through the left side body. Keep the hips up nice and high. Keep both hands evenly planting down in towards the ground. Then come back to center. Swiveling both heels over to the left. Feel the beautiful opening on the right side body. Both hands evenly placed down onto your mat. Come back through center. Take a nice deep bend through the knee. Shift the tailbone up towards the sky. Start to open up through the chest and the shoulders and lift the hips up nice and high. Straighten the legs. Press the heels back down towards the ground. Start to enjoy that opening through the chest and the shoulders. And just bring some awareness to the shoulders. If you're finding that they're rolling inwards towards the ears, reverse that. Externally rotate the shoulders away from the ears so there's lots of space between your head, your neck and your shoulders. It's a much stronger and better position for the shoulders. Then gently start to walk the feet up towards the hands. Leaving the feet at hip distance, you can always measure by putting two fists in between the balls of the feet. Let the head and the neck hang heavy. We're just staying in ragdoll for a few breaths. So your knees are as bent or as straight as they need to be. Bending knees in forward folds will always take pressure off the lower back and the hamstrings. And just allow gravity to work the crown of the head down towards the ground, allowing space to appear along your spine. Might feel nice to have a little rock from side to side with the rhythm of the boat. But just focus on hanging nice and heavy. Let everything go. Your head becomes that weight, that bowling ball. And as it starts to work its way down towards the mat, you just enjoy that space along the spine. Bring the fingertips back down onto the ground, walking all fingertips over to the right, and just feel that gentle opening through the left side body. Just pausing there. So you're just meeting your edge, that resistance, and just pausing there for a few moments. And coming back through center. And bringing fingertips over towards the other side. Gentle opening through the right side body. Keep both feet evenly placed towards the ground. All four corners of the feet grounded into the mat. Come back through center. Toe heel the feet in together to touch. As you inhale, lifting the torso halfway. As you exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, lift halfway, fingertips to the shins or they stay on the ground. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, come all the way to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring the hands back through heart center. Taking a moment, hands at Samastiti, feet are together, a little bit of space between the heels, outside edges of the feet parallel with the outside edges of the mat. Lift the toes off the ground, feel the activation through the arches of the feet. Keep that activation and ground the toes back down into your mat. Keep a softness, a micro bend behind the knees. Now lift your kneecaps by engaging the quadriceps at the front of the thighs. Tailbone tucked in, belly in. Pressing the palms towards each other, shoulders down and back. Lift the crown of the head up towards the sky. So you're standing as tall as you can and you're starting to hug the muscles in towards the bones. So suddenly your standing pose becomes an active pose. This is where your standing balancing poses grow from, and it's also where you return to at the end of each vinyasa flow. Nice active standing pose. As you inhale, extend the fingertips towards the sky, stretching up. As you exhale, swan dive forward, bend the knees as much as you need to. Fingertips touch the ground. Inhale, lift and lengthen, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, come back up to standing, palms touch overhead, half sun salutation. And bring the hands back through heart center. Working with the breath, inhale, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward, fingertips touch the ground. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way to standing, palms touch overhead. Bring the hands back through heart center. As you inhale, fingertips towards the sky, reaching up. Exhale, swan dive, lead with the chest, fingertips touch the ground. Inhale, lift halfway, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come back up to standing. Palms touch overhead. And bring the hands back through heart center. Inhale, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive, fingertips touch the ground. Inhale, lifting halfway, shoulders back. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank. And just pause in your plank for just a moment. First plank of the entire trip, so we just want to check on our alignment. Make sure the shoulders are directly over the wrists with the fingertips forward. Feet are separated for stability. Core is strong. If you're leading with your belly, just drop down to the knees. It's better to keep the alignment through the spine than it is to keep the knees lifted. It's an inhale, hold. Exhale, shift the weight into your tippy toes. Bend through the elbows, come all the way down onto the chest and the belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Use your back strength to lift the chest off the ground. Shoulders back, elbows in nice and tight. Feet are on the ground behind you. If the feet start to lift, let go of the glutes and just activate the muscles along the spine. Come back through the knees if you need to. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up nice and high, downward facing dog. Feel free to find movement or stillness, whatever your body is craving. If you'd like to step it out, working the heels down towards the ground one at a time, you're more than welcome to. The body's craving stillness. Pausing in your down dog, lifting the hips nice and high, pressing the heels down towards the ground. Press the mat down and away from you. Then try to pull your thumbs towards each other. Feel that activation through the shoulders when you do that. Bend through the knees. Step or float the feet forward to meet the hands. Feet are together. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way back up to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring the hands back through heart center. Inhale, fingertips towards the sky, stretching up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lift halfway, shoulders back. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank. It's an inhale, hold. Exhale, shift the weight into the tippy toes, bend through the elbows, keep them in nice and tight. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra remains your modification. Flip over the toes, push back, downward facing dog. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, step or float the feet forward to meet the hands. Feet are together. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way back up to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring the hands back through heart center. Beautiful. Let's keep flowing with our breath. Inhale, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive, lead with the chest, fingertips touch the ground. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank. Drop the knees if you need to. We're bending through the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, flip over the toes, push back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, step or float the feet forward to meet the hands. Feet are together. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring your hands back through heart center, Samastiti. Beautiful. Inhale, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive, lead with the chest. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank. Working through your vinyasa flow. Keep those elbows tucked in nice and tight. They should almost be grazing the ribs as you work through that flow. You're working with your breath, finding your rhythm. As you inhale, right leg up towards the sky, nice and high. Bring the right knee to your nose. Pause there, engage the core. Follow through with the foot into runner's lunge. So bring the right foot in between the hands. Now adjust the front foot if you need to. In all of our lunging poses, front ankle directly underneath the front knee, staying right up on the ball of the back foot as you gently start to work through the hips. Bring the shoulders back so your collarbones are nice and broad. You can always drop the back knee if you need to, otherwise back leg is strong and straight. Now in one swift movement, we're stepping up into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So bring the back heel down onto the ground, sweep the arms up overhead. So back foot's on around a 45-degree angle, give or take, depending on your hips. Reach the fingertips up towards the sky, but bring the shoulders down and relax, palms facing each other. And just check that your kneecap's in line with the hip and the ankle. Sit down a little deeper into that front knee. Beautiful. Take a few breaths. Keep working on bringing the left hip forward, right hip back. It's a lunging pose, so there's a nice bend through that front knee and arms are straight. Let's open up into Warrior 2. Back foot shifts onto a 90-degree angle, and by opening up the pelvis to the side of the boat, we're allowing ourselves to come deeper into that front knee. So aiming for a right angle bend through the front knee. Make sure you can see the outside edge, the right edge of your right big toe. If not, maybe the knee is rolling inwards. Roll it back outwards in line with the ankle and the hip. Arms are strong, fingertips are active. Your torso is vertical, shoulders directly over the hips, and you're aiming to get that right angle bend through the front knee. It's a deep, deep lunge. Let's flip and reverse. Right palm up towards the sky, left hand trails along the back of the left leg. We're reaching up as we reach back. Keep the left hand nice and light on the back leg by engaging your core. So you're lifting up and then back. Keep your breath moving. You can stay where you are or start to turn your gaze towards the left foot and start to straighten through the right leg so you get a deeper opening through the right side body. Make sure that your breath is still nice and calm and consistent. If it becomes too short and sharp during the practice, you're backing off until it's back under control. The right hand guides you back into Warrior 2, sitting nice and deep into the front knee, arms are nice and strong. Keep the gaze over the two peace fingers of your right hand. Now reach forward and then pivot the arms, extended side angle. Modification, right forearm to the top of the right knee is there if you need it. Extending the left hand straight up towards the sky, make your fingertips do the splits. If you'd like to work a little bit deeper, flip the left palm towards the front of the boat, reach up and over so that your left fingertips down to the outside of the left foot are this beautiful diagonal line, and you feel that opening through the left side body. Make sure you're not sinking into the right side waist, you're still lifting up out of the waist so it's nice and long. Beautiful. Left hand guides you back into Warrior 2. Sit down nice and deep into that front knee. Take your time. And now cartwheel the hands down onto the ground. Step back into high plank as you work through your flow. Optional one-legged flows all the way through if you would like to. Where's your breath? From your downward facing dog, as you inhale, left leg up towards the sky nice and high. Bring the left knee to your nose, hug it in nice and tight, engage the core, follow through with the left foot in between the hands, pausing in your runner's lunge, gently opening up through the hips, especially through that right hip flexor. Keep the hips and the shoulders square towards the front of the room. Check the alignment of the front ankle. So always make sure we find stability in these lunging poses by having the ankle directly underneath the knee. Shoulders back, staying on the fingertips. There's a slight tuck of the chin, so the back of the neck is nice and long. The head and neck are in line with the rest of the spine. Now in one swift movement, we're stepping up into our warrior one. So back heel comes onto the ground as you sweep the arms back up overhead, palms facing each other, fingertips are active. Sitting down nice and deep into that front knee, you keep working the right hip forward, left hip back. Arms are nice and strong, fingertips reach up towards the sky, shoulders down and relax. So start to bring the shoulder blades down the back. Nice and strong, sit a little deeper into that front knee. Now open up with grace into your warrior two. Back foot shifts onto that 90-degree angle, which allows you, as you open up the hips, chest and shoulders to the side of the boat, allows you to come a little deeper into that front knee. Arms are nice and strong, stack the shoulders over the hips, make sure the left knee isn't rolling in, bring it back into alignment with the hip and the ankle. Now reach the left hand forward just as strongly as you're reaching the right hand back, stay nice and strong. We're flipping, reversing, so left palm up towards the sky, right hand trailing along the back of the right leg. Reach up as you reach back. Feel the beautiful extension through the left side body. Now you can stay exactly where you are or turn the gaze towards the right foot. Start to straighten through the left knee. Feel that beautiful opening on the left side body. Keep the breath circulating gently. Now the left hand's guiding you back into warrior two. Sit down a little deeper into that front knee. Arms nice and strong. Now reach forward and pivot. Left hand down, right hand up towards the sky, extended side angle. Modification, left forearm to the top of the left knee is there if you need it as you extend the right hand towards the sky. If it's safe for your neck, you can turn your gaze towards that right hand. You can stay exactly where you are, flip the palm towards the front of the boat, reach up and over, feel that beautiful extension through the right side body, through to the outside blade of the right foot. Keep the breath moving, make sure you're not sinking into the left side body, you've got length through the side waist. Now the right hand's guiding you back into your warrior two. Find stability, work with the rock of the boat, and then cartwheel the hands down onto the ground, step back into high plank, working through your flow. Drop the knees if you need to. It's always more important to keep the alignment through the spine than it is to keep the knees off the ground. So we always modify and work in correct alignment. Take a few breaths in down dog. Bending through the knees, step or jump the feet forward to the top of your mat, feet are together. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring your hands back, heart center. Make sure your feet are together as you take a nice deep bend through the knees. We're coming into Utkatasana, powerful chair pose. Sit back into an imaginary chair. Should be able to move the toes freely. If not, shift the weight further back. Bring the biceps right back in line with the ears. Fingertips are active. Now take a slight tuck of the tailbone to take compression out of the lower back. Shift the weight into the heels, come down a little deeper. And bring the hands through heart center down onto the ground. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. As you exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank, and we're working through our flow. Beautiful. As you inhale, right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, right foot in between the hands. Inhale, step up, warrior one. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, flip and reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Bring the right hand down onto the ground, left hand up towards the sky. If you'd like to take a bind, reaching back with the left, reaching under with the right, interlacing the hands. If you're taking your bind, bringing the left shoulder back, stack it on top of the right, and everyone's trying to open up through the hip joint. So if you're dropping the shoulders forward, start to bring the shoulders back. If you're bringing the bum out, scoop the tailbone under. Beautiful. Unraveling gently into your warrior two, then straightening through the front leg, reach forward with the right hand and pivot into Trikonasana, straight-legged triangle. Now it's more important to keep an open hip joint than it is to reach the right hand down onto the ground. So if the right hand has to come to the foot, the ankle, the shin, the knee, whatever it needs to, open up through the hip joint, stack the shoulders, stack the hands on top of each other, extend the left hand up towards the sky. If it's safe for your neck, you can turn your gaze towards that left hand. Now you're more than welcome to stay where you are. If you do want to test your balance on a rocking boat and try and move into half moon, you're more than welcome to. Bending through the front knee, reaching forward with the right fingertips. Bring the left hand to the left hip as you extend the left foot up towards the sky. If the hips Chest and shoulders all start to stack. Then maybe you can extend that left hand towards the sky. Keep your balance, work with Mother Nature. We love a rocking boat. Now with control, bending through the right knee, step back with the left foot, come into warrior two. Find stability in the pose. Find extension, focus, and then windmill your hands down onto the ground, step back into high plank. Working through your flow. Once again, you can do one-legged vinyasas all the way through if you'd like. You can modify your vinyasas by bringing the knees onto the ground. It's your practice, so always respect what your body needs today. From your downward facing dog, as you inhale, left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, left foot in between the hands. Silently use your core. Inhale, step up, warrior one. Back heel down onto the ground. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Shift the back foot on 90 degrees. Inhale, flip and reverse. Exhale, extended side angle. Pausing in your extended side angle or finding a bind, reaching back with the right, reaching under with the left, interlacing the hands. If you're taking your bind, start bringing that right shoulder back, stack it on top of the left. Everyone's opening up through the hip joint. Take a few breaths, then unraveling back up into your warrior two. Find strength and stability, find your focus. Then straightening through the front leg, reach forward, try to touch the front of the boat and pivot the arms, left hand down, right hand straight up towards the sky. Open up through the hip joint. Turn the gaze towards the right hand if that's safe for your neck. And now you are more than welcome to stay exactly where you are. If you want to have a play with half moon, bring the right hand to the right hip, bend through the left knee, reach forward with the left fingertips, spring off the back foot, lift it up towards the sky. Opening up hips, chest and shoulders to the side of the boat, maybe extending the right hand towards the sky, fingertips are active. Have a little bit of a play, keep that beginner's mind, keep your focus. Now with control, bending through the left knee, step back with the right foot, come back into warrior two. Sit down a little deeper into that front knee and bring the hands down onto the ground. Step back into high plank, working through your flow, both feet on the ground or one leg can be lifted, completely up to you, as long as you're working with your breath. Take a moment in down dog. Give your head a shake no. Give it a nod yes, always ending on the positive. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, step or float the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, come all the way back up to standing, palms touch overhead, and bring the hands back through heart center. Make sure your feet are together. We're taking a nice deep bend through the knees. Shift the weight back into the heels. Come back to Utkatasana, powerful chair pose. Now make sure the knuckles of the big toes are touching and your knees are together. Pretend you got $50 in between your knees that you're not allowed to drop. Slight tuck of the tailbone, bring the biceps right back in line with the ears, sit down a little deeper. Now this time you can stay where you are or reach your fingertips towards the front of the boat and start to lift your heels off the ground. Sink the hips down as low as you can. Work with your balance, holding together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Hands through heart center down onto the ground. Inhale, lift and lengthen, shoulders back. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank, working through your flow. Elbows in nice and tight. Work with your breath. Everyone meeting back in downward facing dog. As you inhale, right leg up towards the sky, nice and high. Right foot silently in between the hands. We're coming into crescent lunge. So hands to the hips if you need your balance. Whenever you're ready, extending the arms up overhead, palms facing each other. Bit of a tricky one with the boat, but this is where drishti, focal point, comes into play. Focus on one point in front of you. Focus on the boat, although that might be moving as well. Lift the fingertips towards the sky, shoulders down and relaxed. We're going to work into a twist by bringing the hands through heart center. Hinge forward with the torso and twist towards the right, hook the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. You can drop the back knee down if you need to. If you're feeling a little unbalanced, drop the back knee. If it's in your practice, you can open up the arms. Otherwise, hands stay at heart center as you work deeper into that twist. Starting to rinse out the belly, those internal organs, find more space along the spine. Now come back through center, bring the hands back up overhead into crescent lunge. Find your balance, it's a bit tricky. Bring the palms to touch, drop the back knee down onto the ground. Lift up out of the waist on the inhale, arms are overhead. And as you exhale, tuck the chin in nice and tight. We're rounding down, forehead to kneecap. As you inhale, come back to center. Lift up out of the waist. Gentle back bend if that's part of your practice. Otherwise, you can look straight up towards the sky. If you're taking the back bend, engage the front body as you reach up and back, so you're lengthening through the spine as you extend. Come back through center, hands either side of the front foot, step back into high plank. Feet together behind you, left hand into the middle of your mat, swiveling onto the outside blade of the left foot. Drop the left knee down if you need to. Lift the right leg up if you'd like to. Right hand reaching straight up towards the sky, finding your variation of side plank, whatever that might be this morning. Now press through your left palm, push the mat away from you to activate your left shoulder and keep the core nice and strong. Go with the rock of the boat for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come back to high plank. There's an optional vinyasa flow. If you need a break, down dog or child's pose are always available to you. Take your time. Take a few breaths in down dog. As you inhale, left leg up towards the sky. Left foot silently in between the hands. Hands to the hips if you need your balance. We're coming into crescent lunge. Lift the hands up overhead. Focus on one point in front of you. You are aiming to get that right angle bend through the front knee, staying right up on the ball of the back foot. You can drop the back knee down if you need to. Bring the hands through heart center. Hinge forward and then twist towards the left. Right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Pressing the elbow and the knee towards each other to come into that twist. Use that leverage. If it's in your practice, you're opening up your arms. You can drop the back knee down if you need to. If you're opening up through the arms, make sure you're not sacrificing the twist. We're still using that leverage, lifting the left hand towards the sky. Coming back through center, lift back up into crescent lunge. Hands back up overhead. Focus on one point. Stay nice and strong through your core and bending through the front knee. Bring the hands together overhead as you drop the back knee down onto the ground. Inhale, lifting up out of the waist. Exhale, tuck the chin in nice and tight. We're rounding down, forehead to kneecap, rounding the spine. As you inhale, come back to center. Lift up out of the waist, look up towards the sky, maybe a gentle back bend, but keep lifting the heart up as you reach back. So we're always lengthening the spine before extending. Come back through center, hands either side of the front foot, step back into high plank, feet together behind you. Right hand into the middle of your mat, swivel onto the outside blade of the right foot, extend the left hand straight up towards the sky. You're dropping the right knee down if you need to, you're lifting the left leg up if you'd like to, whatever your variation of side plank is. Press through the right palm, activate your right shoulder. Engage your core for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. High plank, optional vinyasa flow. If the arms need a break, please take it. Down dog and child's pose are always available to you, so take it at your own pace. Beautiful. Take a few breaths. Feel free to walk your dog out, pressing one heel down at a time. Then coming up onto the toes, bending the knees, step or float the feet forward to meet the hands, feet are together. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. And then inhale, come all the way to standing, palms touch overhead. And bring the hands back through heart center. Take a nice deep bend through the knees, Utkatasana, powerful chair pose. Sit back into your imaginary chair. Bring the hands back through heart center. Hinging forward and then twist towards the right, hook the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. You're either pausing here. If you do want to work with side crow, bring the hands down onto the ground, sink the hips down, bend the elbows enough for your tricep to become a little shallow. to the side and want to try side plank, side crow, I'll just give you a quick little rundown. So you're bending the hips down, bringing the hands to the side. So your hands are almost on a 45-degree angle to your legs. And then that's when you start to lift the hips enough to bend through the elbows. The elbows bend so that you can start digging that elbow into the side of your leg. And as you lever the hips to the side, that's when you start to come down. All right, but we're going to do it right now. So everyone come back, let go of the feet, bring the feet together to touch, sweep the arms overhead, Utkatasana, powerful chair pose. So knuckles of the big toes are touching, weights in the heels, hands through heart center. Hinge forward with a neutral spine and twist towards the left. Bring the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Pausing here in your twist. If you're taking side crow, bring the hands down onto the ground on a 45-degree angle to where your feet are. Bend gently through the elbows. Keep the gaze in front of your hands. Lift the hips enough to start bringing the feet off the ground. Digging your elbow into the outside of your left knee. Keep the knees and the feet together. Beautiful. Coming back down, everyone bring hands down onto the ground, toe heel the feet out to hip distance. Padahastasana. So bringing feet up towards the top of your mat. So Padahastasana, we're slipping the hands underneath the balls of the feet so that the toes come all the way up to your wrist creases. Let the head and the neck completely go. So once again, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Allowing space to appear in your spine. Just a few more breaths here. Then releasing one hand at a time. Toe heel the feet in together to touch. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step or float the feet back into high plank. Working through an optional vinyasa flow. If you'd like to take a break, please do so. Take a few breaths in down dog. This time as you step or jump forward, feet out nice and wide, Malasana, deep yogi squat. So feet are on the outside edges of your mat, feet are on around a 45-degree angle, give or take. Everyone's hip joints are different, so find what's comfortable for you. If you need to bring the hands down onto the ground in front of you, you are more than welcome to. What we're trying to do is have the heels on the ground, have the hands at heart center, and you're trying to bring your shoulders back, collarbones nice and broad, sinking the hips down towards the ground, keeping a nice neutral spine. Gaze on something in front of you, maybe the beautiful view. And we're aiming to draw our knees outwards. So we use the elbows on the inside of the knees to start to bring the knees out, sink the hips down. And we're just pausing here for a few breaths. Taking your time. And then bring the hands back down onto the ground. Step or jump back into your high plank. Optional vinyasa flow or down dog or child's pose are always available to you. Take a moment in down dog. Feel free to find stillness or movement, whatever the body is craving. And then from your downward facing dog, as you inhale, come into high plank. As you exhale, push back into down dog. Engage your core. Inhale into high plank. Exhale into down dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. One more. Inhale, high plank. Exhale into down dog. Beautiful. As you inhale, bring the right leg up towards the sky. Bending through the right knee, stacking the hips on top of each other. Keep trying to press your left heel down towards the ground and the left toes are facing the front of the boat. Stacking the hips, keeping your shoulders level. If one's dipping, bring it back into alignment. You're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are. If you're not going to flip off the boat, Tony, please feel free to flip your dog. Move your mat over a little bit if you want. All right, if we're flipping the dog, we're pressing down through the heels, lifting the hips up nice and high, extending the right hand towards the front of the boat. Keep breathing, extending, lifting. And as you inhale, flipping back over, everyone extending the right leg straight up towards the sky. And we're coming back through for crescent lunge. Right foot in between the hands, hands to the hips if you need your balance. Whenever you're ready, extending the arms up overhead, palms facing each other, fingertips are active. Sit down a little deeper into that front knee. Now start to bring the palms towards the front of the boat, bend through the elbows, and then draw your elbows back. Open up through the chest. If you have your balance, you can turn the gaze up towards the sky. Otherwise, just looking forward. Come back through crescent lunge, arms nice and strong. Hinge forward, arrowhead. Extend the fingertips out behind you, neutral spine. Not sinking the chest down, we're still keeping nice and strong. As you inhale, come through crescent lunge and open the arms up and out to the side. As you exhale, hinge forward, extend the arms out behind, arrowhead. Inhale, lifting up and open, draw the elbows back. Exhale, come back through into arrowhead. Either staying where you are, if you do want to test your balance on the boat, pressing off the back foot, come into aeroplane pose, arms out to the side. Have a little bit of a play, keep the arms nice and strong, gaze on one point, keep your drishti. Now with control, bending through the front knee, bring the hands down onto the ground. We're coming into standing splits just because we can. All right, so activate the left hamstring, pull it up towards the sky, holding for 3, 2, 1, bending through the standing leg, step back into crescent lunge. Take a moment. Some people are just looking at me like I'm crazy. Good morning. I usually just keep doing variations till people start laughing at me, so I think I've hit the point, so that's okay. As long as you're all smiling. All right, so crescent lunge, lift the hands up overhead. Kelly's slipping off her mat. Welcome to boat yoga. All right, bring the hands through heart center down onto the ground, step back into high plank, optional vinyasa flow. If you need a break, please take it. If you're taking your flow, work with your breath, elbows in nice and tight. Beautiful. As you inhale, left leg up towards the sky, nice and high. Keep pressing the right heel down towards the ground, bending through the left knee. Stack the hips on top of each other. Make sure your right toes are still facing the front of the boat. You're stacking the hips and your shoulders are level. You're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are if it's in your practice. With control, silently flipping your dog, placing the foot down gently, anchoring both heels, pressing through the heels to lift the hips up nice and high. Extend the left hand towards the front of the boat. Keep the breath moving. Keep extending and lifting. Now the left hand is guiding you back over. Extend the left foot up towards the sky. Now with control, left foot in between the hands, we're coming into crescent lunge. Hands to the hips if you need your balance. Focus on one point in front of you, lifting the arms up overhead. Beautiful. From your crescent lunge, start to bring the palms forward and bend the arms out to the side and draw the elbows back. So squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Maybe looking up towards the sky if you feel stable enough. If not, that's fine. Coming back through center, hinging forward into arrowhead. Extend the fingertips out behind you. As you inhale, come back through crescent lunge. Open the arms out to the side, palms facing forward. As you exhale, come back through into arrowhead. You can bring the back heel down onto the ground if that helps. Inhale, lifting up and open. Look up towards the sky if you're balanced enough. Come back through center, hinging forward, arrowhead. More than welcome to stay in arrowhead or press off the back foot. Arms out to the side, come into your aeroplane pose. Stay nice and focused. Arms strong, beautiful. Everyone bring the hands down onto the ground. Activate through your right hamstring, pull it up towards the sky. Standing splits just because we can. And we're in paradise and we're on a boat and it rocks. For 3, 2, 1. With control, bending through the left knee, step back into your crescent lunge. Bring the hands up overhead. Find stability, focus, and bring the hands through heart center down onto the ground. Step back into high plank, optional vinyasa flow. Take a few breaths. Then everyone just take it easy. Bring the knees down onto the ground, extended child's pose. Take a few moments. Lengthen the breath, settle the heart rate. Keep sinking the hips down towards the heels. Extending the fingertips forward. Just resting your forehead gently on the ground. Pressing into your third eye, your intuition. And bringing both hands over towards the right, opening up through the left side body. Now your head can move with the hands. When you've reached your edge, bringing the forehead back down onto the mat. And then coming back through center and walking the fingertips over towards the left. Head can move with them. When you've reached your edge, bring the head back down onto the ground. And then come back through center and just sliding forward onto your bellies. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, chin on the mat, feet together behind you, creating your cobra tail. As you inhale, lifting up into baby cobra. So use your back strength to lift the chest off the ground. Shoulders are back, elbows are in nice and tight. If the feet start to lift, let go of your glutes and focus on the muscles along the spine. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other, lift the chest up nice and high. Press down through your abs and see if you can come up a touch higher. Beautiful. Release. Left ear on the mat, looking towards the right side of the boat. Hands either side of the hips. Completely let go. Feel the lower back rise and fall. I can just leave you all here to have a bit of a sunbake, really. Sleep. We can also have a snooze. Shavasana's coming, I promise. Now bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, chin back onto the mat. This time, as you inhale, lift the chest off the ground. As you exhale, lift the feet off the ground as well. You can stay exactly where you are, extend the arms out to the side into aeroplane. Full Salabhasana, locust pose. Activating all the muscles along your spine, but also now the back of the legs. Press down through your abs to see if it brings you up a little bit higher. Beautiful. Holding together, full extension. And release. Right ear on the mat, looking towards the left side of the boat, arms either side of the torso, and just allow your heels to drop out to the side. Slimy feet. Take a few breaths. Bring the chin back onto the mat, arms out to the side, feet together behind you. As you inhale, come back into full Salabhasana, locust pose. Chin, chest, arms, legs, everything comes off the ground. Pretend that your mat is red hot and you don't want to touch it, so as little of your body touching the mat as possible. You can stay exactly where you are or interlace the hands behind you. Keep the legs straight. Press down through the abs. You can stay here or start to look over your right shoulder and pivot, moving the arms towards the opposite side. Come back through center. Perhaps looking over the left shoulder, pivoting the arm. Come back through center, press down through your abs, activate the back body, come into your full extension and release. Beautiful. Bring what are we up to? The left ear on the mat, looking towards the right side of the boat, arms either side of the torso. Allow your hips to completely relax. Even give your hips a little shake from side to side, release your lower back. Beautiful. Now we've got one more spine strengthening. Chin back onto the mat, arms out to the side, feet together behind you. As you inhale, come into full Salabhasana. So arms out to the side, feet together behind you. Channel Superman. You're more than welcome to stay exactly where you are or start to bend the feet in towards the hips. Reach back with both hands for the outside edges of your feet and you're kicking into Dhanurasana, floor bow. So you're trying to look like a teardrop shape from the side. Try to not allow your knees to splay out any wider than your hips. And this is where your leg strength comes into play. So you're kicking into the hands to lift the knees and the chest. Holding together for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Release. Right here on the mat, looking towards the left side of the boat. Let the heels drop out to the side. Maybe give your hips a little wiggle from side to side. Completely relax, release. And then everyone pushing back into extended child's pose. Knees nice and wide, big toes touching. Stretch the arms out in front of the body. Take a few breaths. Take a moment. Let go of the left leg. You'll start to feel the pinch in the right hip flexor start to dissolve. And as you work deeper into that abdominal cavity, you start to rinse out your internal organs, and you also press into your digestive system. So on this side, we're working with the ascending colon. So the more you squeeze that knee in, the more benefits you get. And then extending the right leg towards the sky, interlace the hands behind the back of the leg. Now let that left leg be heavy, and it's a gentle release through the back of the right leg. So just take your time. If you need that right leg to be a little bit more accessible, you can bend your left knee and plant the left foot in towards the ground to allow that right leg to come in a little closer. So trying not to force, just using your breath. And gently bending that knee back in towards the chest, interlace the hands over the top of the knee. Working into a gentle spine twist by leaving the left hand on the right knee, right hand out to the side. Guide the knee over towards the left and turn your gaze towards the right hand. Now if you need a little bit more support through the lower back, the right toes can tuck behind the back of the left knee. Otherwise, the right foot comes towards the ground on the opposite side. Come back through center, extend the right leg down onto the mat, bring the left knee in towards the chest, interlace the hands over the top of the knee, interlace your fingers the opposite way, go to whatever's natural, then switch, finding balance between both sides, your Shiva, your Shakti, your Yin, your Yang, finding balance, hugging the knee in nice and tight, allowing that right leg to be nice and heavy on the mat. Being patient, allowing the pinch in the left hip flexor to start to dissolve. We start to work in nice and deep to the digestive system, internal organs. towards the sky. You can bend the right knee and plant the right foot in towards the ground if you need a little bit more freedom and access to that left leg. If the big toe is within your reach, you can also pistol grip the big toe. And just take your time, be patient. And then bending back through the knee, hug the knee in nice and tight. And then leaving your right hand on the left knee, left hand to the side of your mat. Guide the knee gently towards the right, tuck the toes behind the back of the knee if you need a little bit more support. Otherwise, that left foot comes towards the ground on the opposite side. If you'd like to take full wheel, I will talk you through full wheel in this set. If you're taking bridge for a second set, feet start in the same position, feet at hip distance, anchor the heels. Whenever you're ready to move into bridge, you're lifting the hips off the ground, interlacing the hands behind you. Keep the head and the neck still. If you're coming into full wheel, bring the hands down either side of the ears. Keep the hands at shoulder width. Try to imagine doing a push-up with your hands together and how hard that would be. Bring the hands out to shoulder width, palms down onto the ground, heels in nice and close to the hips. As you inhale, press down through the heels and the hands at the same time to lift the hips off the ground. Pausing if you need to adjust the hands and the feet. Press through the heels, press through the palms, holding for 3 to 5 breaths. Before you come down, bring your hands out wider. Before you come down, you're tucking the chin in towards the chest and coming down onto your shoulders rather than onto the top of the head. Everyone slowly releasing. Bring the knees in gently towards the chest, a loose hold and a rock from side to side along the sacrum and the lower back. So a few of you saw that if your hands were too narrow as you push up, you can't get the extension through the chest and the shoulders. You do need to bring the hands out as wide as your shoulders to give you that extension and lift. All right, one more set. Bring the feet down into your starting position. Everyone's feet start in the same position. Feet at hip distance. Heels on the ground. If you are taking bridge, whenever you're ready, lifting the hips off the ground, interlacing the hands. If you're taking full wheel, bring the hands out as wide as your shoulders, palms on the ground, heels in nice and close. Inhale to press through the palms and the heels. Extend and press through the legs. So keep pressing through the heels to lift the hips up nice and high. If full wheel's not working for you, just come into your bridge pose, holding for 3 to 5 breaths. Before you come back down, you're tucking the chin in nice and tight and you're coming onto your shoulders rather than the top of the head. Everyone gently releasing. Bringing the knees in gently towards the chest. Little rock from side to side. Then bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, come back into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose, tops of the hands, either side of the hips. Just take a few moments. Feel the belly rise and fall with every breath. Bring the knees back in towards the chest. Arms out to the side. Bring both knees over towards the left. You can eagle wrap the legs if you'd prefer. So Kevin, arms out to the side to get your arms out the way. That's it. So just allow your knees to be heavy. If you're eagle wrapping the legs, right leg over the top of the left. In yin, we call this twisted root. And that's when we start to let go of all of our muscles. Allow the knees to be heavy. If the right shoulder needs to lift, that's fine. Allow it to lift. Gently stretching through the belly, the internal organs, finding freedom in the spine. Just release. And then coming back through center. Eagle wrap the opposite direction, or just keep your knees together, knees over to the right, turning the gaze towards the left hand. Allow the knees to be nice and heavy. And slowly come back to center, bring both knees in towards the chest. And it's a rock and roll up and down the length of the spine to come to a seated position. And we're going to work into deer pose, which is a modified version of half pigeon. So coming over onto your right hip, bending both knees. And so in this pose, I don't want you to worry about too much what it looks like. I just want you to feel into the pose. I just want you to drape the chest down towards the right knee and start to shift the torso from right to left, and just find the pose where you need to be to start to stretch through the back of your right hip. So everyone's a little bit different. Maybe the arms are narrow, maybe the arms are out nice and wide. Maybe the torso needs to shift more towards the right ankle to get a stronger stretch through the right hip. And then wherever you are, let the head and the neck completely go. You can stack your hands on top of each other or stack your fists on top of each other. Bring your forehead down on top of the hands or the fists to let the head and the neck completely go. The main focus of the pose is that right hip. And now that you're nice and deep into that pose, just pausing there, and instead of coming out completely, I want you to just make subtle shifts within the pose. So if that right hip starts to open up, just make tiny movements, perhaps towards the left to get a stronger stretch through the right hip. Maybe it's a slight shift of your hands, turn of the head, whatever it needs to be, just to find that little extra pocket of resistance that you can start to work into. Find some more freedom. Let go of the muscles completely. This is when we start to work deeper into those connective tissues, finding true flexibility by helping the joint movement improve. So sink into your pose and breathe. Few more moments here, so if you do want to make any more subtle shifts, find that little extra pocket of resistance. And slowly come all the way back up. Take your time. Connective tissue doesn't snap back the way that muscles do, so you need to gently ease your way in and out of these poses. Bring the left leg forward, right leg back, come right over into your left hip. Take your time. And starting to drape the chest down towards the left knee. Take a few moments. Ease your way into the pose. Arms narrow, arms wide, stack hands, stack fists, whatever you need to do. Releasing through that left hip. Working a little deeper into your into your forward fold. Let everything go. Be heavy. Melt in towards the mat. A few more moments here. If you do want to make any subtle shifts, slowly make your way back up to seated. Come to either cross-legged or kneeling. Bring your hands to heart center. Closing your eyes for a few breaths. With every inhale, be uplifted. With every exhale, be grounded. Inhale to uplift. Exhale to be grounded. Take a few minutes to observe body and mind. And bring both thumbs up to your third eye for clear thought. Both thumbs to your lips for true speech. And both thumbs to your heart for compassion. Bowing your heads to seal your practice. And now we know that Shavasana is the most important pose of all. If you are worried about the sun, the shaded area of the deck below us, if you want to move your way slowly and gently to a shaded place, please follow Claire, who will show you where to lay your mats. If you're happy to be on deck and lie down for 3 to 5 minutes, then please take your Shavasana, feet towards the back of the boat. Feel free to strip off into tanning mode. So spinning around, Tony. Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, no, I can understand. Sorry, that was confusing. All right, so taking a few breaths. Shavasana. Shavasana is your treat at the end of each class to allow the benefits of your practice to start to sink into the body. As you close your eyes, you allow yourself to turn your gaze inwards and come back to that quiet observation of the body. It's the perfect time for us to tune in to let go of any leftover tension. To enjoy that beautiful sunshine and warmth on our body. To enjoy that gentle rock of the ocean. That beautiful fresh air. And just take a few moments to relax, to be still, feeling the body melt down into your mat. This is your chance to be heavy, to let go completely. We'll work through some gentle breathing together. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. And then just coming back to your natural breath. But try to keep that depth, that rhythm. Be expansive with every breath, nourishing the body. With every exhale, be heavy, release, relax.